So,
How you doing, man?
of Farmer Greer.
Farmer Greer, what was that?
Yeah, because that's what I'm doing from now on. He's no longer Chris Greer. He is Farmer Greer because, as I've told all of you that you come on the show for months now, he's all about low-hanging fruit.
Yeah,
You
sure.
always hear the Dolphins are interested, but some people think, oh, they're interested. They're going to trade a first-rounder. They're going to give him a high salary. No, they're interested, but they're interested in their own ways. And Jalen Ramsey, yeah, we're a third rounder for him. Yeah, sure. Oh, Dalvin, you want? Well, we got $4.5 million for. We're not paying you 8. We're not paying you 6. No, here's 4.5. You want that? You taking 4.5? So low hanging fruit strikes again.
Yeah.
Farmer Greer.
Yeah, look, Chase Claypool is obviously all these moves the Dolphins have made in the past, high upside, but you know where the floor is, right?
Right.
Is Chase Claypool going to come through Miami and tear it up, light it up? That's the hope that the Dolphins have every time they've done a move like this. Mark Walton being one, Robert Kimdiche being one a couple years ago. We joke, the Dolphins kind of feel like they're Captain Save a you know what sometimes with these players when they're not doing well in their careers, man. Chase Claypool has a lot of issues he's got to figure out, man.
Maturity.
Chicago, yeah, maturity, sure. I'm not too exactly sure what happened in Pittsburgh, but I do know in Chicago, he came out and pretty much blasted everybody to the point they told him to stay home. Stay home, Chase. We don't need you here. We don't want your energy around here. We have a Thursday night game right after a Sunday game. We could use an extra body. No, Chase, stay home the extra couple days too, man. We're gonna get you all the way out of here. I like the move from the Dolphins standpoint just because you have River Craycraft and Eric Azukama on IR right now. So you add some depth there. You lighten the load a little bit for the other guys in the receiver room, not named Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, like, Robbie Chosen, some other guys on the back end of the roster, but Braxton Berrios too. But I was looking up some highlights, and believe it or not, Chase Claypool actually has football highlights in the NFL, Big O. I know it might seem very impossible just because of the rap this kid has, but he does have some highlights. To me, I think Mike McDaniel sees this kid 6'4", 4 something speed, 4'4", 4'5" maybe, and higher, lower.
No, I'm talking about. We're talking about alley-oop, baby, alley-oop.
I actually while I like that idea, sure, I actually think this is to take over Azukama's role as the in the run game.
Okay.
Have a big dude back there to run the ball a little bit. I actually saw a couple handoff plays and some highlights, and I thought I can see Mike McDaniel giving this guy the ball to keep him engaged, right? Chase Claypool had to apologize.
I see Gesicki and the Ravens last year.
You see what in the Ravens?
I see Gesicki and the Ravens last year, middle of the
jump ball pass. Yeah, jump ball pass. Yeah.
He excels at that. And that's a dimension.
You need a jump ball guy.
That's a dimension they don't have. So the running part, I love that part that you brought in. That is very true. I could see, because he is a football player, he's an athlete. So I could see him doing those kind of things. But I also see him adding something that Tua doesn't have. He has to drop everything in perfect spots because it's an Oompa Loompa throwing to Oompa Loompas.
Throw it up there.
Now this is the only guy he has that he can throw it up. And that guy's going to outjump almost everybody because that's his thing. That dude has a 4-inch vertical. So to
Waddle's
me,
got a 10-foot vertical too, man. Waddle can get up there too. I saw some highlights of Waddle dunking earlier this week back in high school. I know he can climb the ladder. But you're right. I've said this from the jump, Big O, when I was watching the Dolphins in training camp. They desperately needed a jump ball guy on this offense to replace Gesicki, to kind of take advantage of a tight end that's not really on the offense, or even used in the offense in Mike McDaniel's scheme. But if Chase Claypool can come and catch some passes, great. If he can come run the ball, great. His problem has been, in my opinion, not being engaged enough. Earlier this year, he actually had to apologize to coaches and teammates because he wasn't blocking, or doing the things that he needed to do while on the field for the Bears. So that's obviously not going to play in Mike McDaniel's offense, where all 11 need to be doing something to help the plays, go forward offensively. But, low-hanging fruit, like you said, I'm not expecting much. But It's not bad to take a flyer when you have some depth issues due to injury, and hopefully he can get into the swing of things pretty quickly here.
I don't know why my gut tells me it's going to work out for him on this one because it's his last year. He has to work out. He needs it badly if he wants to make any money next year.
Yeah.
It might not be Miami that gives him the money because they can't. They have so many people to pay. They're
Well,
not going to
he's
be.
probably dropped the price so much on himself that if Miami wanted to throw a flyer money on him, they could too. You know.
They yeah. At the end of the year, if he doesn't shine the way he needs to shine,
Yeah.
then yeah, Chris Greer will pull out one of those 2-year specials that he does with again low hanging fruit 2-year deals
Yeah.
that you in and I control. But I just feel like if he's smart here and he figures this out, he just got placed in the top 3 offense in the NFL. He's playing with Tyreek and Waddle that
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be so worried about them that he's going to have all the one-on-ones that he can take advantage of. And if he's smart, dude, if he actually screws his head on right. And by the way, Cam had a nice nugget for us. Says he's going to put up the video that he didn't he has the video.
Yeah, I
And
saw the
apparently,
video just now too.
yeah, Claypool went across the entire field to go hug Tua.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder what the hell that is about. And
Yeah.
now he's playing with Tua. So, I'm sure you guys are going to end up asking that about what the hell is it? And
Yeah.
so, motivations are strange. We all have them. What triggers us? Maybe this is something that triggers this kid and gets him on track. Who knows, man? He is immature. So maybe these are the kind of things that might get him excited about, doing his job or something. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, NFL players. I mean, Chase Claypool, especially. I'm sure he's got the message. 3 teams in your first 2, 3 years, 4 years, maybe in the NFL. That doesn't happen when you're a draft pick like he was. So I think the writing's on the wall for him. He knows what he has to do, and I think the Dolphins' offense can find a place for him. Like I said, I think they're running the ball. You kind of fit what you were trying to get to Izukama to do for you before he went on IR. So I think that's a great aspect. You have a 6'4" guy running the ball, kind of like Debo, strong guy who's fast as well. That's great. He'll be a great blocker on the outside if you want to have Tyreek or Waddle run the ball the same way too. So hopefully he's engaged. Hopefully he is inspired by this new, change of scenery for him, and we'll see what the Dolphins do with it. But I like the move. It was a good move for them to make.
Oh, it's a great move because there's nothing to lose from it at all. Pick swap, give me a break, dude. That's nothing. All right. Not really a shocker. Teron Armstead placed on the IR. The good thing is he'll be eligible to come off for the Chiefs game if he's healthy by then, which is really good because that's the kind of game you're going to need him. He wasn't going to be ready for the Eagles anyway. And Kendall Lamb has done a terrific job, overall. Every time he even did a solid job this past week, filling in for Teron Armstead. But your thoughts on the Dolphins placing Teron Armstead on the IR?
Yeah, just routine. Things that you do to keep free up a roster spot. Teron, you can for what are you going to keep him on the roster if he's not going to take 2 weeks, 3 weeks? This is probably back on the same timeline he was before this, before the season started when he got hurt in Houston during training camp, joint practices when they were out there. But look, at least the Dolphins go into this knowing that they already have a left tackle that they are confident about in Kendall Lamb. And we've all seen it week 1, week 2, before Armstead came back, in the Broncos game. So Dolphins are in good shape, man. Kendall Lamb has to stay healthy. That's the next important part because after he goes down, who do you have next, right? And I think, things are looking upward for the O-line. Connor Williams, groin injury, but he's been practicing in a limited fashion on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll see how he finishes the week, if he's limited or full, but I expect him to be questionable for the game. May not be a game you need to play Connor Williams because it's the Giants. But also we can take from last night's game with the Bears, winning their first game of the season and not dropping to 0-5. The Giants might come in here inspired to play some football, so the Dolphins shouldn't overlook them. But you have something in left tackle in Kendall Lamb. Hopefully he stays healthy, and hopefully Teron gets back as soon as he can because the Dolphins will need him for the stretch run. And I'd rather have Teron January, February, December than, right now.
Yeah. But even that said, whenever he comes back, how long will he last? And
That's always been the knock on Tehran. He's never played a full season, throughout his career, but he does well when he is in, and he does everything he can to play. So you take that from him, and you also have to keep him from himself as well. So he's going to rehab and come back soon.
All right. Some fans, by the way, are pissed off about the Claypool move because what do they need a receiver for, Safid? Why aren't they trading for a center or a middle linebacker, Safid? That's what they want to know, Safid. Why don't you tell them?
That's a great idea. Those are great ideas. Those guys are right. You know what? I'm only telling you guys are right so you don't yell at me like Big O pretended to yell at me like you guys did. Obviously, there's a situation with Claypool where it was very public, right? Nobody's clamoring for a center or a middle linebacker. Maybe a linebacker is going to make some noise if he's not played, right? Who's that?
Has a spare middle linebacker or starting center to give you, bro? Ooh,
nobody, but we got a draft pick receiver who can't get his head right, so go ahead and take him. Look, the Dolphins, every team is going to have holes in the NFL. Every team is going to have some holes, and we know the Dolphins where they are. It's at middle linebacker. It's in the secondary until those guys come back really healthy. We saw Nick Deen come back to practice this week, which is encouraging, but he's still a ways to go. Brandon Jones probably still a ways to go. Jalen Ramsey, nowhere close, still a very long ways to go. Connor Williams is a comeback. This is a groin injury. Another encouraging injury that we spoke about last week too. Jalen Phillips, he's practicing as well. Did not practice last week, so we'll see if he goes against the Giants. This is Giants this week, right? Giants and Panthers.
Yes, sir.
I'm just coming back from Cleveland, man. I got sent to Cleveland to do a Travis Kelce story, so I'm back in the hangar here with you and the Dolphins, and I'll be there on Sunday for the game. I might end up being at InterMiami on Saturday night. For all we know, it could be Messi's last game. Just kidding. But I could definitely see it being a tune-up for him as well.
Okay, so one more thing before I let you go.
Sure.
How critical should we be about adjustments for both coaches? Not just Fangio, because they were bracketing Tyreek. You refused to bracket Diggs. You refused to have X move over and follow him everywhere. Then I could move over to McDaniel. McDermott stifles you, and you had no answers for it after that, which kind of reminds you of what happened with the Chargers last year. And then, and it actually happened to you 2 weeks in a row, and you didn't have an answer for it until a year later when you met him again. And so in-game adjustments kind of been a little bit of an issue here. And so your thoughts on how critical should we be about in-game adjustments? How critical should we be about Fangio adjusting his scheme to fit more what his players actually do? Because I don't think Baker or Long or Agba or Brandon Jones or others may ever fit your system. So why don't you do things to help them be a little bit more comfortable? So your thoughts on adjustments for offense and defense?
Yeah, very, very layered question for sure. Let's start on defense. Vic Fangio has a scheme that has been tried and true to him and his success in the NFL. It's why we praised him so loudly, before he got here and eventually taking the job. And also, we also know what it's kind of about too. It's a bend don't break defense, and not my favorite defenses to have on the field, but sometimes that's kind of how it goes in the NFL. You bend, and hopefully you don't break. And sometimes you get a third down stop and at least a punt. Sometimes you get a turnover if you're opportunistic. But some defenses aren't really too opportunistic, or they aren't really, garnered so that turnovers really happen. It has to be kind of on every down, man. Every player has to be, swiping out the ball, and most importantly, assignments need to be covered. Shout out to Vic Fangio for admitting that maybe he should have, in hindsight, put Xavier Howard on Stephon Diggs last week. You thought he would have did it after the first touchdown, Kader Kohu got torched on? Nope. Thought it would have happened on the second touchdown, Kader Kohu got torched on? Nope. The third one, when him and Brandon Jones couldn't make the tackle? Nope. Dolphins lost that game because Stephon Diggs got loose and he got lit. in a way that Tyreek Hill was unable to do. And now let's go to the offense side, like you said. I give Mike McDaniel credit for the Chargers game, sure, but you got to remember every week one performance by every NFL team, you have the whole season to prepare, the whole off season to prepare for that week one game, right? It's just like college. You have a week one game, you know what you're going to go into. You got your game plan. That's it. But as every week kind of goes on, what's your game plan going to be from a week to week basis? How quickly are you going to install things? How much are you installing? Do the players need some extra coaching? Is it going to work? Right. Then you get into that minutia of things. And when things don't work for the Dolphins like they did, last week, obviously we have questions like we do like going into this week, Big O. But I'm pretty sure us as a media group, we are going to remind Mike McDaniel of the job that McDermott did, just like we reminded him of Brandon Staley, right? And we saw how that ticked off Mike McDaniel going into the season. The Dolphins have so much more football to play before they see the Bills again. So it doesn't really do you all the kind of game plan for them starting now, but they'll be keeping an eye on them for sure. And when you see that team again later on the season, hopefully McDaniel is a lot more prepared, and we'll see what team is on the field as well too. But a lot more football to be played before then.
I'd like to see it adjust right in the game. I'd like to see it right in the game. Look at Vic Fangio. I know he's 1,000 times better than Josh Boyer. So and I'm not here to defend Josh Boyer and say he's great or anything like that. But I have said in the first month of what Fangio's done, Boyer has done more with less.
Yeah, but it's all about continuity, man.
At least with Boyer, I saw his defense get their asses handed to them in Detroit and in Baltimore. And then they adjusted in that second half and shut down both Detroit and Baltimore to give the offense the opportunity to get back in the game and win that game. If I can see Josh Boyer, who I know is a fraction of the defensive coordinator that Vic Fangio is, if I can see him adjust twice in a game and bounce back after getting thoroughly embarrassed, then I got to see the same thing from Fangio, my brother.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think you look from week 1 to week 2, the Dolphins got ran over by the Chargers. And, in week 2, they slowed down the Patriots run game, and that's all the offense that the Patriots have, right?
Yes.
So, week to week, you like to see improvement, yes. Would you like to see some mid-game adjustments? Of course, you would too. I think the defense is all these guys. It's all about continuity, man. It's all about continuity in the scheme. Like I told you before, Josh Boyer and that defense is Brian Flores' defense. So they've been used to playing it. Josh Boyer is just a new voice making the calls, right? And trying to put these players in the best position, trying to call a defense that's truly not his. It was Brian Flores before that, and before that, it's Bill Belichick's, right? So Vic Fangio has this scheme. These players are still learning it. We're 4 weeks into the season. You don't really get that much time to get to learn it and use it as they did from OTAs to now, but it takes a long time for them to learn, and it takes a long time for them to really just bend a little bit less than they are breaking or had broke in Buffalo last week. So it's going to take some time, man. It's going to take some time. And I know it makes it feel like Josh Boyer did a better job and why they got rid of that guy, but they got the better defensive coordinator. It's just time for him to really show it too, because I'm pretty sure there were some questions that he had to answer last week or this week, about the Bills game. That he's kind of going back to the drawing board and realizing what I have on defense, what can guys do better, to fit them. And I think the adjustments will come.
All right. 12.5 points. You laying the points if you're a Dolphin fan there?
12.5. Yeah, I can see them winning by like 16, 17. Why not?
Okay. All right.
Defense returns a couple touchdowns. Yeah, I can see that.
That would be nice. I would like to see that. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Safid_Deen. Shut that damn rundown is what they need to do. Yeah. And check out exceptional work there at USA Today. Safid, as always, thank you, my man. We will talk post-game.
Yes, see you post-game.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Safid Deen and our BaptistHealth.net/ortho Miami Dolphins report. The staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care is comprised of highly specialized, board-certified, and fellowship-trained orthopedic physicians, supporting by advanced practice providers and athletic trainers, all of whom play a vital role in the patient experience. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has locations from Monroe County to Palm Beach County.